So we'll come back to this. What I want to do is I want to scroll back up and I want to go through what she posted. She posted this 3 days ago. Okay, I'm going to just read it right here so you can see her face as we're reading it. Okay. Yeah. She says, a cry for help. This is part 1. Okay. And I think the one that I see on Instablog only had part 1 to it. So it's helpful that I came to her page, as a matter of fact. Yeah. It's helpful that I came to her page. So she said, fellow Nigerians, she's speaking to Nigerians, my name is Taiwo Ajayi. I have been separated from the ex-husband for the past 4 years. I was married for 12 horrible years to Joseph Okbongete. I hope I pronounced that right. That name sounds like he's from the Edos or Deltas, or possibly Akwa Iboms. I don't think that's an Igbo name, right? I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. For those 12 years, I suffered greatly under his roof, subjected to domestic violence in its most horrific forms. Let me just check something really quickly. These people, yeah. All right. 1 second. Let's just do that while we're live. The browser is struggling. Let's see here. And to be with like, these people, they don't demonetize again. You know, they just did it to me. They do it to me sometimes. They demonetize before we actually get the show going, but you know, I just request review. Anyway, so let's get back to it. She said 12 horrible years to Joseph Okbongete. For those 12 years, I suffered greatly under his roof, subjected to domestic violence in its most horrific forms. I faced physical, emotional, psychological, and financial abuse. We are both born-again Christians and ordained ministers at the House on the Rock Church, Lagos. I appeal to the Christian body in Nigeria to please call one of those ministers to order, one of their ministers to order. I don't want to become another statistics of a Christian woman who was deleted from domestic violence. This case has been reported last year to the Lagos State Domestic and Sexual Violence Agency, DSVA, where Joseph Okbongete was invited to, and he confessed twice to having beaten me, and this was recorded. It was also reported to the Nigerian police force. I was brutally raped on our honeymoon in Cairo, Egypt, as a virgin. Ouch. I was beaten up. I'm just speaking since they already limited us on monetization. I was beaten up when I was 5 months pregnant with our daughter. I was called fat, useless, and ugly by this man I had married. I was called fat, useless, and ugly by this man I had married, even though he married me as a beautiful size 12. I was beaten up severally, beaten while holding a new baby boy, having my head bashed into the wall. Hey, trigger alert. If you can't handle it, you can feel free to leave the room. Thank you. Trigger alert. Trigger alert. I'm just letting you know. Okay. Bashed into the wall, having my head bashed into the wall, which landed me in the hospital. I have faced several hospital visits and admissions due to the abuse. I suffered terrible silent treatments, was humiliated severally, publicly and privately, was cheated on by the husband with other women, and I would discover he was sleeping with the housemaids, who I would have to chase away from the house. All right, so she says continue on to the next post. Now if you pay attention to here, she has tagged people that she thinks can help. She tagged Tonya, bruised but not broken. These are probably people that address the kind of stuff. Timmy Dakolo, Instablog Niger. She's definitely trying to yell out for noise here, right? His name is Joseph Okbongete. Okbongete. Hit that like button. Hit that like button, I beg. Let me see. His name is Joseph Okbongete. Okay. Now, this is just her side of the story. So, this is all. In fact, everything we do on this show is allegedly. Okay. Just so you know. We're going to go into post 2 in a second. She tagged Daddy Freeze today. She tagged Paul Adefarasin, who is their senior pastor. She tagged Funke Adejumo. She tagged a bunch of people. Kate Enshaw. Okay, so she tagged people that have history of advocating, or what do you call it? Activists for this type of situations, right? Lara George, I know Lara George. Lara George is a legend at this point. She was a singer. She said, I know we've spoken already, but I just wanted to leave a message here as well. Holding your hands through all of this, praying with you for the very best outcomes. Okay, that's a very nice thing for her to say. Nikki Laoye is also very popular. She's the one that was helping with Samuel Koso burials and all that kind of stuff back then. She's a gospel artist too. She said, calling you immediately. Please be safe and fine, dear. You know I'm always here for you. So she's getting some support already. Okay, but she put this out here and she hasn't deleted it. So, but even if she deleted it, it's on Instablog Niger. This person says, oh my God, Taiwo, I haven't heard from you since our days at Firebrand Assembly. It's sad to reconnect with you via this news. Taiwo, I'm holding up in prayer. Okay, all right, good stuff. Let's go to part. Let me go to part. Okay, that was part 1. This is another picture she attached to. Okay, this is post 2. So this is all part of part 1. This is post 2 right now. All right, that picture almost does not look like the same person, right? Almost does not look like the same person. It's crazy. Anyway, she said, my successful career as an award-winning recruiter has been threatened and almost destroyed, even when I had worked within the oil E&P industry in Nigeria and worked with multinationals within corporate Canada in the finance industry. Because of the stress it was giving me, I lost my job with a multinational last year, which was fetching me the equivalent of 55 million naira. Okay, she's trying to make a point here. 55 million naira. Let's see. Okay, so about $83,000. I guess that's a year. I guess she was making $83,000 a year. All right. Wait. A year. I did. It should have been CAD, not USD. Okay, about 110,000 Canadian dollars per year. I was being paid in Canadian dollars. Oh, she wrote it actually right here. Look at me. See? I'm just reading. I'm reading it for the first time with you, okay? I was being paid in Canadian dollars and it was 100% remote. That's good stuff, right? My hard-earned resources and all that I have worked for the past 16 years was stripped away from me. Listen, if you're going through domestic issues that's consuming you emotionally, yes, you can lose your job easily because you just won't be able to pay attention. Okay, you're gonna mess things up. Due to the abuse I was suffering in the hands of Joseph Okpongete, I relocated to Canada with my children in 2016 to distance myself from this man and to give my children and I peace. He would come to Canada and ask the landlord to evict us from the property that I rented with my own money. And we would be suddenly rendered homeless. Wait, how is that even possible? Okay, I don't know how that's possible, but listen to what she just said, right? She said he would come to Canada and ask the landlord to evict us from the property that I rented with my own money, and we will be suddenly rendered homeless and have no choice than to return to his house in Nigeria. Okay. All right, maybe somebody can explain something to me. That place is not adding up. Unless his name was on the house. Or the rental, and then she said it like, let me see, and we would be suddenly rendered homeless. That sounds like it happened multiple times. Anyways, maybe somebody can help me. Due to the stress I was receiving on the home front, I would have burnout on my jobs in Canada and have to resign, leaving me with little or no income. So she wasn't fired, she resigned. Okay, I don't know if that makes any difference, but I know that stress can make you lose your mind and lose your job. When the abuse became too much, I had to call the Canadian police in Mississauga. I've never heard that before, in Ontario, who came to warn him at the house that if he continued this way, he would be arrested. This made him step back a bit. Chinye, it's the same question I'm asking though. How is that even possible, right? I returned to Lagos 2 months ago because I prefer being at home in Lagos. The climate works better for me. Okay, so she returned to Lagos after how many years? About 9 years? No. 2016 to 2000 and last year 2022. It sounds like 6 years. Okay, the climate was better for me. I have received threats from him about what he would do to me. Now you could tell here that she's using her own maiden name, which is Taiwo. He has also refused to pay child support, take care of the kids, nor pay their school fees. I've been running from this man for the past 4 years, and my country people, I am tired. Hence why I am crying out today for someone to please help me ask this man to leave me alone. There's another story I might cover in the next few days with Russell Simmons and Kimora Lee Simmons. She's asking Russell Simmons to leave us alone. I didn't see that one coming. I thought they were always cordial. They've been divorced for like 20 years or so. But he has insisted in a forceful manner that I return to his house. Okay, let's see. Anyway, she decided to put this picture out there because she's trying to paint a picture of her state emotionally. She did, but then she put this out too. This is post number 3 now. Okay. 2 weeks ago, his auntie called me, commanding me to return to his house, to which I politely but firmly refused. She told me that if I divorce him, that I will not make heaven. These people.
Not be juju be that.
That I will go to hell. Thank God the sacrifice that Jesus paid on the cross is all I need to make heaven, and not my marriage to this Shylock. What is a Shylock? Somebody help me. What is it Shylock or Shylock? Google is our friend. Help me. He's owing me 250,000 Canadian dollars as initial relocation expenses to Canada. Okay, so let's make this make sense. You left so you can have peace. You left with your kids to Canada so you can have peace. He's owing you 250,000 Canadian dollars. Somebody help me make that make sense. Maybe we'll read to the point that it makes sense finally. Okay, but just it will conflict with the original statement, which is you were leaving so you can have some peace of mind. Sounded like you were actually separating from your, well, 6 years, more than 4 years. She says she has been separated for 4 years, so maybe she had moved first before she separated. Okay, maybe that makes sense. Anyway, so she says he's owing me 250 Canadian dollars as initial relocation expenses to Canada, draining my resources up to his plane ticket into Canada. I had to pay for it. What it sounded like to me is that they both decided to relocate the family to Canada. He's a minister at House on the Rock, all right? And he was probably going to do back and forth, and then they got into trouble with their marriage, and yeah, unfortunately, right now it's all in the poto. Hey Chinye, I love those poto videos. I can't wait to get them onto the screen. Thank you. Anyway, let's continue here. No, before I continue, let me see what you all are talking about. Yep, how's that possible? Oh snap, I thought they were good running their business. So did you know them? Yeah, fear. Well, I'll be like G-string. Sherlock means colors. Oh, colors. Okay, colors somebody. Okay, that makes better sense. It would have been easier if she included him in the Canadian PR application. What would be easier? Okay, because my original question is that how is it possible that he could get them kicked out of the house? That was my original question. You know, well, even at that, I can't. You can't call, like here. I don't know how it works in Canada, but here right now, I can't come and call. I can't come out, like, even if I left my apartment for my family, right? I can't call the apartment complex and say, hey, my family live inside the place, kick them out. I can say, if it's on my name, I can go to court and say, hey, I'm no longer paying, I'm voluntarily giving the apartment back. I can do that, right? But then she can also go back to court and says, no, we live there, we need time, I got children, and they will actually work with that. I don't know if that works like that in Canada, right? So there's more going on with that. Okay.